So we met in New York City. I was an intern at a church in Brooklyn, and his church was coming up to work with ours for a big summer outreach in the city. So we had like a introduction on Wednesday night. I didn't really meet him that night, and then we went out to work in a different part of Brooklyn the next morning. We came back to the church to eat lunch, and he walked up to me, and we were in the same circle eating lunch, and he walked up to me afterwards and he said, "Hey, I like your name," or something. What did you say?
Just something like that. When all y'all introduced yourselves and they said your name was Lydia, I can't remember, this is gonna sound super nerdy, but I was like doing a study through Philippians, I think it was, or Galatians, one of those two. And we were talking about Lydia, how she was the first European convert or something like that. And so I had the name on my mind. And so when actually to meet Lydia, I just wanted to come tell you I really liked your name. No flirt intended behind it, but that's just what it was.
And then, so we ended up working on the same crew. Well, they assigned me. It turns out that they intentionally assigned me to Ryan's group. So that was nice of the people of the church up
We
there.
found that out like 2 months ago, something like that?
Yeah. We'd been dating for over a year. We were already engaged, and they're like, by the way, we intentionally put y'all together on the same project.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Painting bathrooms.
Yeah,
Men's bathrooms.
We were painting a New York City bathroom. It smelled awful. We
Yeah.
flirted the whole time.
Yeah, it was great. Found out a lot about each other. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. So I guess for me, the experience was just having been on several different mission trips and all that kind of stuff. This time I was actually coming as a youth pastor, and so you always watch kids in high school when they go on these trips. In the back of their mind, they're thinking about meeting somebody, all that kind of stuff. It just happens, and so I was more concerned really about that happening with my students, just watching after them, just seeing what happened, and never really expected that the one time that wasn't on my mind, like the first time that really wasn't at all on my mind, that I would meet my future wife. It's pretty crazy, and of course, instead of me getting to rag my students about it, they spent a good deal of time ragging us about it, because right out of the gate it was obvious that there were feelings there.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I let you know that there were feelings there, which I think kind of caught you off guard.
It did.
Apparently you weren't used to guys just being straightforward with how they felt about you.
No. Usually it was pretty hidden in the background for a couple months while they prayed about it.
Yeah. I didn't have to do much praying. I told her before we left, and had a fun night out in New York City with the students. They kind of forced us together.
Yeah.
With that awkward, terrible picture of us that they cropped a heart around and sent it to us at the exact same time in a restaurant, and watched us bond over it. It was
watched us blush over it, more like.
It was great. And so we left, and she stayed up there, and while everyone else slept on the bus ride home, I texted her, and we texted and called a few times until she got home, and then took her on a date.
And then a second date.
And then a third date, and then a fourth date, and
Here we are.
here we are. I've always heard that engagement is tough, and I have to say that even though I thought they were all going to be wrong, they were right. It is. It's really tough, because even though you want to be together when you're in a relationship, when you reach that level, at least for me, I think you're the same way though, you really just want to be married. Because we know in our heart that we want to spend the rest of our lives with each other. And so in that, we've learned a lot of things. I know I've learned a lot. Probably the one thing that God has been teaching me and growing me in is grace. And not just with you, but with myself. Because I recognize that when I say that, it sounds like, wow, Ryan's got to show Lydia a lot of grace. That's not true. But actually learning to lead in a way that I'm called to. You see a lot of your imperfections most clearly when you're interacting with someone in a close relationship like this. And I think that that's one of the beauties that God gives in marriage for those who have that gift, is that you really kind of get to see yourself in a new way and get to experience grace through having to rely on them to show you grace. And also in those moments where you show grace to other people and being able to grow together, because the crazy thing about it is there's no perfect couple. We all look at those couples and just think, man, those are awesome. I wish I could be like them. But there's no perfect couple, and we're no exception to that. But the cool thing is that at the end of the day, getting to experience the grace that God shows us, and learning to walk in that every day, and waking up every day knowing to have a new start, knowing that we have a chance to fix the wrongs of yesterday and to walk in the freedom and the love that Jesus has showed us, and that we can actually help each other grow towards that. And I think that that's just a taste of the union that Paul talks about that comes in marriage. That it's that the two become one, and I really see that even in engagement and how that's going to work, because we've grown a lot closer, I think, and I really do believe that God is helping us to grow more like Him just through our relationship with each other.
I think God's really showing me, like, it's little things every day. It's like, I always thought that I'd have a real big trouble with not counting someone's offenses against you. And like every relationship talk I've ever heard says you can't keep track of the things that you did wrong, that they did wrong. And I always thought that I was never going to be able to do that. I always thought that I would keep tally in my head, but God's just done a work into me where I don't anymore, and it's amazing, and I'm really surprised by it.
Thank God.
I thought I would, but I find that is one part of the relationship that I don't have a struggle with right now, and I'm very grateful for it. Let's see. I don't know.
I'm glad you're learning not to do that to me.
Me too.
That's freeing.
Yeah. We're very excited to get married.
Very, very excited to get married. Can't come soon enough.
It'll be a fun party, and then it'll be a fun life.
It's going to be a fun party. And really just believing that it's going to just be the launching pad to a great life together. Mm-hmm. I'm super excited about it.